ọkpara gị bụ Jizọs Kraịst. Amen. Kịta mma kpọbata onye kpọkọwara anyị n'ọgbakọwa n'ụbọchị taa ka ọ gwa anyị ofu okwu ma ọwa abụọ banyere ihe anyị ga-eji ime n'ụbọchị taa. Were akpọbata nwanne anyị nwoke Iwu Isi ka onye anyị ntụziaka dịka ọnọdụ ihe ga-esi wee gaa n'ụbọchị taa. Tony Iwu Isi, biko ofu okwu ma ọ abụọ ị nwere ịtọgbọrọ ndị be anyị. Ugbu a oge gị.
Okay, thank you very much, Ike. Can you hear me?
Yeah, nna n'ihe na-ekwu olu gị na-apụta.
Okay, thank you for an awesome job as Master of Ceremony, welcoming us, receiving our guests, our special guest for tonight, and especially receiving Ndi-Igbo as a whole. So it's a pleasure to have everyone here. We're honored to have your distinguished senator, former governor here as well, and as a whole, Ndi-Igbo as a whole. So my remarks today are very short, very simple. The purpose of Aladinmma and this conference is to bring Ndi-Igbo together to have a conversation about Obodai, what is going on, what is going on in Igbo. We'll have a lot of problems there. We'll have indicator presidency, like a distinguished senator here. We'll have those who are going after the Biafra movement. We'll have those who are going after development of Igbo. So the purpose of today is to bring all these important men and women together to a conversation. And that is the purpose of it. So it's our pleasure to have a distinguished senator here today, former governor of Imo State, and he is going to be our speaker for today. So we're going to listen to him as a statesman. He's going to address us, but at the end of it, we're going to have some questions for him. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our moderators for tonight's event, which is number one, our sister, Dr. Ikwi, who's a medical doctor based in the US, and Dr. Mona, who's also in the medical profession, a PhD in business, based in the US, and our brother Martin Amuzie, who's also a leader among Ndi-Igbo in Dubai. So they are going to be handling today's conversation. Their job is to moderate the conversation, listen to the senator, and then after he finishes speaking, then they will have questions for him from the forum. So for members of the audience today, your guide is the questions you have, please submit them on the chat, on the Zoom chat, on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, obviously we're on Zoom. And so submit your questions either on Facebook, on the stream, or submit your questions on the chat. And the moderators will pick up your questions and they will ask the senator. And then you wait for the answer. So that's how it's going to work. And at the end of it, it should take us about 2 hours. We should finish this conversation. So now it's my pleasure to hand over to our sister, Dr. Ekwe, who will take the proceedings from here. She will introduce the distinguished senator, and then she will take the proceedings from here. So Dr. Ekwe, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Brother Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of audience, people that are attending the conference for the first time. We welcome you. We've had, this should be the third one. We've had series of them, and we have a lot of information. We've had Professor Oswagu also. We have Ambassador Uche Okeke. We have our brother Samuel Huabunwa. And then today, I don't know if I'm coming out well. Is it the okay? So, and today we are going to have distinguished Senator Rochas Okorocha. Of course, he's a great man. It's a man that the Tell magazine described as a mystery billionaire. So he was born 59 years ago, and he is an Igbo man, of course, from Oboko, Idato, if I slaughter your name, I'm sorry, South, local government area of Imo State. He lived with his parents in Barikin Ladi, Jos Plateau State. And there, that's the first place he learned the art of trade selling, selling oranges, coconuts, pineapple, gari. His profile is quite huge. I'll give you the brief version, and I hope that when he's speaking, he will bring in more, so in case I'm not able to get everything together. But what we're trying to prove to you is that he's a man that knows what he's doing. You see, Rochas sold cars while in the university, buying cars from Cotonou, Republic of Niger, Jos, Kano, and selling them in the eastern part of Nigeria under Rochas Motors, the business in Jos, Plateau State. He also built his first school, King's Commercial College, Vaughan, at 21, when he was 21 years. And then Rochas' first $1 million came from his business as a commission agent for the sale of Balanga Dam project equipment, auctioned by British company, Balfour Beatty Construction Company, which he sold to a businessman called Chief John Olowuye from Lagos State. So like I said, I'm not going through all the things. I'll jump into his education background. And the first prominent one I want to touch is the diploma in administration, in public administration from the University of Jos. And then advanced diploma in law, security and conflict management from also University of Jos. Postgraduate diploma in management, Benue State University. Bachelor's degree in law from University of Jos, and then a master's degree in law from University of Jos as well. Noble career positions include President, Nigerian Red Cross Society, President and founder, Rochas Foundation, Inc., President, Rochas Group of Companies Limited, Pro-Chancellor, African Business School, former Chairman, Board of Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. According to this profile, said that whatever Rochas touches becomes gold. So welcome, sir. We are pleased to have you in our midst. Please go ahead and address us, please. I think he's muted. Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead, sir.
But I must confess that I did not hear much of what you said. I could only pick one on one word. I tried to stretch my ears and I could hardly make anything. But I guess from the bit I had, you were introducing me based on my profile. Am I right?
Yes, you're right, sir. I guess the rest of the people heard. Am I right, Sister Mona, Dr. Mona?
Well, I didn't hear most part of what you said, but let's take it from there.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
If I'm to speak.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Tony, my brother, and all the those who put this together, let me first of all thank you. Day one. I believe in what God can do, and Agmaso Otutozi Jehovah Chineke, Nobochi Nketa, for this rare privilege and opportunity to talk with my brothers and sisters, especially those in diaspora. This probably will be an opportunity to put things right in their practical perspective, that we all may understand what is really happening in Nigeria and the way forward. So this is the opportunity to thank all of you, the organizers, the moderators, and the young lady that just introduced me. God bless you. I didn't pick much of what you said, but let me go ahead and reintroduce myself briefly. My name is Owelle Anayo Rochas Okorocha. I'm an Igbo man, born of both Igbo parentage, from Oboko in Idato South local government of Imo State of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I'm an Igbo, true and true. And that is where I come from. I grew up in the north, in Jos Plateau State, Barkilat particularly, where I had my education and where I started life. And I am a Nigerian by citizenship. It is, however, important to make this clear that I was born of Igbo parentage, but I got schooled in the North. And my business empowerment or financial empowerment came from contact with some people in the Southwest. So I find myself some kind of natural design, a Nigerian, having been born an Igbo man, having been brought up by the North and having been empowered by the West. So most of the time I say I'm a Nigerian to the time. On that note, it is important that I make you understand something about me and to let you know who I am really. I am well schooled. I have my master's degree in law. I have my bachelor's degree in law. I have my postgraduate diploma in management, among other certificates. And I am I'm a sitting senator. I'm a former governor of Imo State. So you can see, having a lawyer and having experience in the judiciary, so to say, and being a governor, executive, I understand the workings of executive arm of government. And being a senator, I have experience in legislative arm of government. So the three arms of government, I can proudly say I have an idea of what it takes to run those departments. Again, I'm a successful businessman, but I made my first money from the north, from Bauchi, the old Balanga Dam, where I made my first $1 million through a contact with a Yoruba man. And that gave me my first money after years of struggling as a street trader and all that in Jos. So the source of my wealth is not questionable. And for those of you who have some of my major business breakthroughs came from that particular business. When $1 was to 1 naira or 78 kobo thereabout. And I managed that very well to go into the car business. If you may recall, I'm the person that supplied the 1,000 Prado Jeeps to all the local governments of Nigeria that saw DPOs own Prado Jeep for the first time in this country. That is about my source of my wealth. So I do not have any questionable source of income. But what gave me my real money is real estate in Abuja. I've been known as one of the big real estate gurus in Abuja, this federal capital. In fact, I came to Abuja when it was about starting, and that gave me what I am today. So on that business side, this is what I stand. Again, I'm the chief executive of many companies, ranging from aviation to motor sales to pharmaceutical, and so many of them now. It is important to mention at this point that I was the president of Nigerian Red Cross for 8 years, and I was the chairman of Nigerian Express Management Agency. I represented the Delta North and South in the as a federal constituency in the National Constitutional Conference, and I've held so many positions. But of importance is that I was a presidential aspirant, 3 times presidential aspirant to this country. I recall that I ran against President Mohamed Buhari in 2003 under the NPP, an election that saw me walk out of the convention for what I considered then as injustice, but it's not the time that God has appointed. Then I ran against Yar'Adua in PDP in 2007, and I came second in that particular primaries, which would have made me an automatic vice president. That again, there was nobody to stand behind me to push for that fact. So despite the impact I made, I could not hold any position. Then I then ran for president again. This last one under under APC, with President Mohamed Buhari again, that saw President Buhari come in as our dear president. And I did that, not necessarily for the point to win, but I did that because at that point, Igbos never believed in APC. And in order to lure them to the center, and in order to spread our tentacles, I ran for that position, which today saw me as the founding father of the party called APC, because I brought ADGA faction into the formation of APC. With that in mind, yes.
Sorry, I forgot to mention to you that you have 30 minutes for your presentation and then another 30 minutes for question.
Fantastic.
Okay.
But it's good I laid the background. It's very, very important. If not, the question will not be appropriate. So on that note, I want to say I'm a three-time presidential aspirant. But as a governor of Imo State, it is very important that I change the landscape of Imo State. First governor to introduce free education from primary to secondary at university in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The governor that built 546 primary schools and changed the school enrollment from 236 pupils to close to 1 million pupils before I left government. I built the International Cargo Airport and the 27 general hospitals that the Ikedro one is functional now, because I was looking into the future to make Imo State a health tourism center. I changed the landscape of Owelle. I opened up Owelle under my urban renewal program. I had Youth Must Work program that brought peace between the government and the youth, and over 25,000 youths were able to get engaged. So I built so many. The International Conference Center was built by me. The best state high court was built by me. The prison headquarters was built, and even the police headquarters was built. And so I had over 1,000 projects. And as a governor, I left the state with 48.3 billion in the account of Imo State. And that is there for anybody to ask questions and get further clarifications on that. And before I left government, I never left any loan behind. I paid off all loans that I collected from any bank in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I made that very public to say that if anybody thinks I owe any bank, let them say so before I left. And no one challenged that. So I left that amount of money in the bank. Of course, there are so many projects I have. I built the chapel, the government house, and so many. What is important is that I introduced the first community government council that helped to check crime. And during my time as a governor, there was absolute peace, tranquility, unity, and security was guaranteed under that dispensation. I think that's what I could say about my bid. But let me go straight to the what probably why you want me to talk about. But let me first of all tell you my understanding of our people, the Igbos, that you today represent in this discussion. I've always argued that Igbos are wonderful, nice, great people, usually commonly misunderstood for their intention, probably for the approach they handle issues. There's no nook and cranny of this country you go without finding an Igbo man. So whenever there are crises in Nigeria, Igbos are the greatest losers. And that is what I stand. But that makes them to the champions of the unity and peace that we have enjoyed as the people of Federal Republic of Nigeria. As we have found in many ethnic groups and many villages in this country, there are hardly few of the other tribes that are found in our own community. This is my understanding of the Igbo people. And let me say, as I'm also the president and founder of Rochas Foundation, where I have over 25,000 children, going to 26,000 children from different tribes. There's hardly no local government in Nigeria or state in Nigeria that I do not have children. This school is absolutely free. We feed them, we provide uniforms, and it's been on for more than 24 years now and still counting. We have schools in Sokoto, in Zaria, in Bauchi, Kano, Jos, Adamawa, Owerri, Enugu, Oboko, Cross River, Oyo, and I have an international school for Africa, where we have over 33 African countries now represented, schooling, also children of the poor and mainly orphans, without having to pay a dime for school fees. So this is what I do, and that's my person. Giving is my personality. Now, I want to be a president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this is why I think I will be the best president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, which I need the support of my people, the Igbos. One is that the mood of the nation suggests that, number one, this country is in dire need of a unifier, considering the fact that most people are calling for a breakup. Yorubas, Hausas, Igbos, and that. And my argument is that it's better to be a 1% shareholder in a $1 billion business than to be a managing director of a 500,000 naira business. This is my view. And then the Igbos are better off in the larger Nigeria, where all they require is a level playground. The Igbos should ask for a level playground and not to put any other part of the nation under them. That is one. So if you talk about all the aspirants now want to be president, none of them can measure up my qualification in trying to unite this country, because there's no aspirant that you can find his signature investment in every geopolitical zone in this country other than Rochas Okorocha of other aspirants. So I qualify in that case that every Nigerian will see me as the president for all. The other point I want to make is this: the mood of the nation suggests who can build the economy. All these crises you see, all these quarrels, all this separation is as a result of poverty and hunger and lack of wealth creation. I'm not in those who sing the songs of the problem of Nigeria is infrastructure, lack of power, lack of security, lack of this and that and that. I sing one song that what they call the problem is actually the symptoms. Insecurity is the symptom of the problem. If you get the problem right, then all these things will fall in place. That's why I have one agenda. My agenda is wealth creation for the people. If you look at it critically, you see that in 1980, dollar was $1 to 78 kobo. And that was when Nigerians' wealth was far more than its population. As the population keeps increasing in a geometrical progression, our wealth is decreasing in arithmetical progression. And that's precisely why you see the gap between the population and the wealth. And that's the hunger and the quarrel, the insurgents, the out-of-school children, and all the problems that you have. Seek ye first a visionary leader who can create wealth, and all these other problems will be solved automatically. That is my stand, and that's where I still stand. Today, Nigeria is overborrowed by 80 trillion naira, but the income of Nigeria is just about 6 trillion naira per year, and they need about 15 trillion to solve their problems. So if they don't create wealth, they can only go and borrow. And in Imo State, I created wealth just using land as a major source of income for the states. When I was a governor, a plot of land in Owelle was between 500,000 and 1 million in 2011. Before I left in 2019, price of land jumped to 80 million and to 90, 100 million, because I was thinking outside the box. And I saw land as wealth set aside for the production of further wealth. So I can create wealth in the Federal Republic of Nigeria as president. The other third point I want to make is on the issue of a leader who has a compassionate heart. We need a leader at this moment who have empathy, sympathy for the downtrodden, poverty-ridden people. And I think I have a compassionate heart. I have the heart for humanity. As I don't see tribe, I don't see religion. I see humanity in all that I do. So with this qualification, I think Igbos have their best candidates that can represent them in this battle. And as Igbo man, today, I'm proud to say I stand about the only Igbo man who can go to the north and command their votes without hesitation, and go to Yoruba land and command their votes, and not just within my state or my people, the Igbo nation. So this is what I will say at this point. But let me say what is more important that might be of interest before I come to crisis in Igbo land, is that there's what is called the mood of the nation and the moral burden in this nation. The moral burden caused that this Nigeria having been built on a tripod, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and the other two legs having tested the presidency of this country, is only justifiable that the Igbo nation should be allowed to handle the affairs of this country, at least for the first time. As much as there's a glamour and moral burden for the power to shift from the north to the south, because it is not appropriate for the north to hand over to the north. There's also a moral burden incumbent on the southwest to think, say, that having produced 8 years of president and 8 years of vice president, that they should make a rethink that this power should rotate to the Southeast, also to the South, our brothers who haven't enjoyed 6 years of presidency and 2 years of vice presidency, to allow the Southeast to produce. So I'm an advocate for equity. Though it might be against the democratic principles, but you must have a nation before you have democracy. That the Southeast should be allowed to have a shot at this. But again, the whole nation is worried about us, that the kind of politics that we play as Igbos have not been favorable. And I agree with them, that our people are not good politicians. They are not good starters for politics. They are just good finishers. And Ndi-Igbo have not helped matters. We believe that the old system would have helped us, but the world has moved on. What we have now is the battle of the power of the brain and not the battle of the fiscal strength of the hand. That's what we have. And Igbos need to make a rethink on how we can arrive at our destiny without destruction. So as it is now, Igbos must wake up and unite and show strength of character. Reach out to other part of the nation, the Yorubas, the Hausas, and solicit for their support and get in there and showcase what they can do. Not mind the fact that I strongly believe that the political sun shall rise from the east, and that political sun shall guarantee peace, happiness, joy, security for the great people of Nigeria. That is my word of advice for the entire Igbos, especially those of us in diaspora. We have to change our style now, and it must be now too. And the style we have to change is show some kind of intellectual power, because we are a special people created by God for special purpose. And the world understands this. Nigerians understand this. And Igbos is the nation Nigeria is waiting for to excel. We must never be found wanting, and we shall not disappoint them. With this, I would say, since you say I have 30 minutes, I'm sure I'm looking for up to 20 minutes. Let me make our time for more questions and answers so I do not consume the time. Remain blessed. God bless all of you.
So thank you so much for your presentation. We actually had up to 30 minutes to take your presentation and then other time for questions. So if you have anything to say, you can still go ahead and say it. If not, we'll move on. Did you hear me?
Go ahead.
If you want to finish your entire 30 minutes.
How many minutes do I have now? I spoke for how many minutes? You cautioned me, so I'm being careful.
Okay, you can take another 10 minutes, sir.
Another 10 minutes?
Yes, if you
I
want.
think that will come more from the questions. Let me leave that for questions.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so I will give us small summary, and then more contribution will come and as he answers our question. So he started by telling us that Igbo people are nice people, because this is something that has been a problem. Almost like Igbos do not believe in themselves anymore. You know, all sorts of names. People call us names. Can you hear me, sir? People
yes,
call us names.
audible, madam.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sir?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
If you shout,
So
I hear you.
People call us all sorts of names. Ụtụtụ asị na ndị Igbo bụ ndị ori, ndị Igbo bụ nka, ndị Igbo bụ nka. So he started on a very good note by reminding us of who we are, that we are good people. I bụ ezigbo mmadụ, I bụ ndị Igbo bụ ndị ọma. But unfortunately, according to him, said that we are commonly misunderstood. And then he described Ndi-Igbo also as champions of unity and peace in Nigeria. He said that anywhere you go to in Nigeria, you'll see Ndi-Igbo working hard to make the society a better place, so that Ndi-Igbo are good unifiers. And then he also said that he will be the best president because he's going to be president for all. And he told us how his presence is every aspect of Nigeria, how he has lived in almost all the parts of Nigeria. So he believes he will be the best president. And he believes that Nigeria, the mood of Nigeria now is that Nigeria needs a unifier because everybody wants to break away. And he feels that he is that unifier that Nigerians need. And then also he believes that Ndi-Igbo will be better off in a bigger Nigeria because of a bigger business opportunity. And then he said he has only just one agenda. You know, that is different because people come with different agendas, many agendas. He has just one. He said that is wealth creation. He sees insecurity, poverty as symptoms of the same disease. That's why he believes that this disease, he came from population, increased population. So he believes that with wealth creation, you take care of all these problems. And then he also believes that he said he's an advocate for equity. As a result, he believes that Southeast should be allowed to produce the next president of Nigeria. However, he observed that Ndi-Igbo are not good political starters, but are good finishers. And that is why he advocating that Ndi-Igbo should change their style and wake up, according to him. So saying Ndi-Igbo should wake up and take the opportunity and produce the next president. Thank you very much, sir. And we'll take questions. I don't know, Sister Mona, do you have anything to add? Can you unmute yourself, Brother Martin?
Sister, I'm here already.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Do you have anything to add as we take questions?
Yeah, I really want to appreciate the Honorable Senator for his eloquent presentation to us. We have known him for that. And he has really expressed himself and his ideology to Ndi-Igbo all over the world. And it's left for us now to ask the necessary questions, the needed questions, and let us know the way forward for the Igbo project in the Nigerian entity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We will take questions, please. I'm still trying to, okay, there's a first question here. It's from Chukwu Kadibia. It says, what are the other Nigerians doing that the Igbos are not doing? He said, can you hear me? Chukwu Kadibia said, what are the other Nigerians doing that the Igbos are not doing?
Do I take the answer?
Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
Now, like I said before, Igbos are not good beginners. They are good finishers. Igbos don't believe in themselves. And Igbos do not honor leadership, commonly said as Igbo, and that is the worst thing that has happened to our people. We don't have a central point or someone we can listen to in Igbo land. All our leaders must be castigated and must be condemned. Unlike in the north. In the north, you have the Absalams, the Babangidas, and the Sultans, and we don't have them in Igbo land. And we have refused to create one. Rather, every big man in Igbo land must be brought down. So we have what is called PhD as a degree, pull him down, which is commonly associated with the Jews, and some high level of betrayal most of the time among their leaders. This we need to change. In Igbo land, it will cost you nothing to get your brother to bring you down. If anybody comes with as little as 1 million naira or 5 million naira to destroy another leader there, you get a willing horse, a willing man to do so. But go with 100 million or 1 billion to the Hausa land to get somebody to destroy one of their own, you're going to go through a very difficult moment. Same about Yoruba land. So Ndi-Igbo must make a change. So you can't have any perfect leader. You can't have any, there's no human being that is perfect. What the Hausas and Yorubas do, they can cover the shortcomings of their leader and keep pushing him so they can move on with life. This is not there in Igbo land. Igbo do not believe in their own at all. Take for instance, I had a very funny experience as governor. I was the chairman of APC Governors Forum, and all the governors gave me a lot of respect for being their chairman. And this is some of them they greet me in a very special way. And it was quite interesting. But one day, one of my Igbo brother, who happened to be well-to-do, came to the place of meeting and bowed down for all the governors and hit me at the back. Rochas Okorocha, this is a group of people, man. You can understand. That's us. I don't know why we enjoy those things. And that's the kind of politics we play. Look at what's happening in Imo State and the kind of fierce war that is going on. It can never happen anywhere. That's our people. I think we should not transfer this to the next generation of Ndi-Igbo, or it might be catastrophic.
Thank you.
That's
so
what
much.
they're doing. So there's more. Though you might have quarrels in the north and southwest, but when the day come to be, those abuses will cease and they will unite. But Ndi-Igbo and Ashigayashi will keep being enemy to one another, even on the day of burial. Will continue and transfer to children. So this is what I call Iberiberism, chapter 1, verse 1.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So I'll take the next question from Clem C. He says, do you have problem with the constituents or constitution of this entity we call Nigeria? Do you have problem with the constituents or the constitution of this entity we call Nigeria? That's from Clem C.
I don't know whether by constituent or constitution. There's only a poor workman quarrels with his tools. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the structure, with the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's nothing wrong. What you see wrong is an apparent wrongs that does not actually reflect the practical realities. When there's hunger, many wrongs come up. When there's poverty, many wrongs comes up. That's why people are calling for sectional government. People are calling for sovereign national government. People are calling for so many things. If the right thing is in place, nobody will even remember this. So your problem is hunger. The problem of Nigeria is poverty, not the constitution. And that is why when enough wealth is created and there are surplus, there will be no quarrels in this country. If everybody will be their brother's keeper.
Thank you so much, Senator. I understand. I'm happy that you're a lawyer. So I think we can dive a little bit into law. I'm not a lawyer, but I heard that constituents of a nation make the constitution of a nation, and that constitutions are made from down up, not from up down. But those of us that have tried to look into what we have in Nigeria keep saying that the constitution of Nigeria was not made by the people. It was not made by the constituents, that it was imposed, that it was actually a military decree 24 that was imposed on the people. So if we say that the constitution of Nigeria is fraudulent because it was not made by the people, in the sense that they lied and said, we the people made this constitution and signed. So it's like a fraud. It's like you have a fraudulent passport. So I'm just breaking it down more. So as a lawyer, do you still think that this constitution is all right?
I can tell you something. The powers of governance rest with the president. The powers of governance rest with the governor. And there are powers they have that can bend the constitution without breaking the constitution of any sort. The president has the right to set up committees, have commissions, if National Assembly approve of it. You can make an amendment. What I'm telling you is all that you feel, or let me say it in Igbo language, if you permit, if those who are listening, no law and then what always. So you can the law of Igbo land is that the Jokpara should take responsibility even for the burial of the father. But when the shovel comes to become, we say that. So I'm not saying that there are no basic small this about equitable distribution of infrastructure. The law provided for this, and the law was not made by the people, it was imposed. The law we have is strong enough to run the affairs of this nation and make everyone happy. Take, for instance, what an Igbo man is looking for, which they don't even know what they want. The Igbo man should let the world know that what they're looking for is a level playground, not a tilting hill that some people are in the valley and some are on the top of the mountain. But it has nothing to do with the constitution. Unless you can tell me where the constitution has really encouraged evil, then I can discuss that with you. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no perfect constitution. Whether it's made by a group of people or this, there's always a loophole. But leadership addresses all this where there are imbalances.
Okay, I like also that you are a lawyer and a businessman. So let's switch again. So you're saying that if I have $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, dollar, for instance, okay, Naira, let's say Naira, 20 Naira, that is fraudulent. You say it's okay, we can use it even when it's fraudulent. Is that what?
Come again?
I said,
I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said, I like that apart from being a lawyer, you're also a businessman. So what you're saying in essence is that if I have a currency like 20 Naira bill that is fraud, you say it's okay for us to continue to use it, even when it's fraud. So far, we just eat food because it's about hunger. If we just eat food, we'll be fine. And then we'll use the currency. I don't know if you got me. Can you hear me?
Please always try to shout, but I think I pick what you said. You say if you have
I'll repeat. Can I repeat?
If you have 20 Naira, which is a bad money, is it appropriate to use it?
Yeah, or since we can always eat food, we just forget about.
Let me tell you, madam, my sister, there's no decency in money. In fact, money that has built most nations are not even clean money, so to say.
No, I
money
mean
that
a fraud currency, like here in the US, when you want to buy something, you bring $100 bill, they want to check whether it's real or fake. So if it's fake, you'll be arrested. It cannot be used. I don't know what is happening in Nigeria. It's possible in Nigeria you can still use it if it's fake.
So how does that relate to Nigerian situation? Are you saying that
so
Nigeria
I'm talking about the constitution. We're going taking you back to the constitution. That the people said that the constitution that they did not make it, that somebody imposed it, that is fraudulent. So, but you are saying that we should forget about it, even if it's fraudulent, we should just go ahead and eat food. Because once we farm and have food and we're eating, we'll be fine. I just want to make sure that that's what you're saying.
You see, there are two. This is what is called, I call it academic exercise, academic argument. Madam, what is important is food on the table of the common man. If you have the perfect constitution and you don't have the right leadership, that constitution amounts to nothing. If you have the wrong constitution and you have right leadership, you can fix things in the country. We're talking about, we leave the main issues and keep talking about the symptoms.
Hello?
We're chasing shadows rather than the substance. That's the point I'm making. There are military-driven nations that do very well. There are countries that don't even have written constitution. They're doing very well. The basic thing is basic thing. It's about leadership. It's about people you entrust with the things that you do. And every constitution can be manipulated in the law court.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you, Mazi Okorocha. Thank you for Ebee Biko. Back to that in constitution because all them and I hope obodo ji aga n'ihu na constitution dị mma. American constitution dị mma today that nine ehi ụra constitution na work for you. Ye mụrụ anya constitution na work for you. Anyị elekwana uru awọ ndị ọchịchị unu achịala anyị chigharịcha anyị nwezi ihe fọrọ anyị na ahụ short unu achịgidela anyị ọzọ sọsọ agụrụ na-agụzi anyị na even na mgbe anyị na-ajụ ajụjụ na ihe a na-agwazi anyị na ọ agụrụ na-agụ anyị na anyị ga-ege ntị maka iweta ihe oriri rie not really ihe ga-adị grounded n'ile anya n'ilegide ụmụaka ndị anyị mụrụ n'ụwa ka ọ dịrị ha na mma na ọ na anyị ga-achọtagodo ụzọ digodi ihe as if the Bible said that shall not live by bread alone as if ihe anyị bere ebe a iri sọsọ nri you are aware of the 68 exclusive list etiri na constitution anyị ahụ kechiri anyị mere na onwe ihe na-aga n'ihu ịma na ọwụ maka ihe isi ike mere ndị anyị ji nọrọ na ihe onyoko mbita na-ekwurugo okwu gbafuchia n'obodo anyị because onweghị ebe esi etinye aka na ọwụ ndị dị ike nzọgbu ihe nọ n'ụlọ na-azọgbukwe na ụmụnne anyị nke front ihe na-achị isi anyị na anyị hapụ constitution na o wee dozie obodo ọkwa ndị ahụ nọkwa na-achị anyị sinsi ya kachikwara obodo the same people na asịzi anyị na edezizi obodo na ihe ga-adị mma anya nwa na-asịkwanụ dat na ma ejighị constitution dị mma were na-achị anyị na onweghị ebe anyị ji azụ aga biko achọrọ m ka ị kọwara m otu esi were dị mma ka anyị nọrọ n'obodo nwere 68 exclusive list na-achịla anyị azụ anyị na-aga n'ihu ya na-akpachi anyị azụ gwa m otu ọ ga-esi were dị mma that na anyị nọ n'elu that constitution were na-aga n'ihu sa anyị na-eme 2023 election. Thank you.
Ada? Can't you get part of the constitution I like? And we have emotions and sentiments. We're going to have issues. Can I discuss them for the first time? Can you hear us say we can be choke imagine a constitution?
Mezi achọrọ m mezi m chọrọ nkwatu achọrọ m ka enye anyị ohere asị ndị wu constituents ka anyị mee ka kwesị ịwụ na lawyer ya wụ na lawyer. Anọrọ m na constitution ahụ na-abịa from constituents and the people know on the ground of the constituents. We should be able by now may afford the ability to make a constitution that is made by the constituents. In that case, Madaga na Buhari, Kaduna. Now, why you take see what na Imo State. Now, Texas, now. Governor in the US, president in the US, I got our governor from Imeka, Ndemada happy and Mabatashana border here. So we don't even have the power. Iji would anything, nobody nachi. He had with the constitution can come, maybe they video Haribe. No, no constitution, especially in Ghana for 1999 constitution.
Emma, actually, as I call it, what you come back and call it, I'm a me word. And if you come my one here problem, Ebee military bagan of you, Obo. Because in both for the only my Ebee and those in the Shinisha. In Kaways joke, the catch of back a constitutional. Imagine my cook out part of constitution as a part of getting him say, my job is one kid with one person, the way beach. Like here, and Abakan who made the constitution. Oh, in the German like constitution, Chiga in a car. Or the problem in the corporate. I see na constitution the perfect. And then when constitution one the perfect. Mana seek here first. Mama kila chipu zachi. Ndị ba no gba na-ekwu okwu ọchịchị obodo Nigeria. Gị na-ekwu okwu nkwatu constitution. Chida nke gị chicha na before gị na-ekwu okwu nkwatu constitution. Oge mgbe ọ na-eru gị n'aka ka ị na-asị ka akwatu constitution. So I will enwe ndị ọzọ jikwe constitution wee mepe obodo ha ya beze gị n'aka atọ. Secondly, ma gwa gị eziokwu. Enweghị ikikere president nwere the governor na-enwe. The only ikikere president nwere karịa governor.
He didn't make over indict by saying that.
I give very well. And when he came president nwere unless government na my honor. The only ike president nwere governor nwere basna security. When even governor nwere more ike than the president in a state, yeah. Imankama, mother gama akodoro ya na gwa eziokwu. So ijom kedi kom akowara gị.
So president na-enye gị allocation was onye kazibu ike, right?
No, the president na-enye allocation. All constitution na-enye allocation, na-enye allocation. When the president na-enye allocation, when you kick allocation. In fact, president yes. So ultimately, what I hear very, very well. I'm happy with this discussion. Please ask me your questions on X. And be direct, be as raw as you want to be. Please be as raw as you want to be.
Oh no! Recently, now Yoruba land, I don't know, it's Southwest, one of the governors. He was trying to give a directive. Then another person, a security officer, said he got his directive from Abuja. So he was counter-directive. The governor of the state was given one directive. The security officer was given an opposing directive, saying that he got his own powers from Abuja. What do you have to say about this, sir?
But I'm telling you about security. That's why people are calling for state police. That's the only part I told you. And this is what is called an empower electricity, which we have now removed from the concurrent lists. The states now can own their state powers. So the only thing left now is that the state police, which people have been angling for. But even the question with the state police, because of the immaturity of most politicians and the way leadership are chosen, any madman in the state level that has a state police can decide to kill whoever he wants and do whatever he wants to do. That's just only the question. So you are going back to my side where that is only security. But even at that security officer is wrong because a governor can say, I don't want this commissioner of police in my state, and the IG must take him away. That's what it is now. So sometimes you must learn to blame the governors you put in place more than blaming the center.
Okay, there's something else that happened in the presentation. We had the first episode of Aladinmma. We had Professor Swagu. Professor Swago, the first episode of Aladinmma, this series that we're having, these conferences, the first episode of this series, we had a speaker, that was Professor Swago. So Professor Swago told us that that we are not allowed to teach our children refining in our land, because it is about Alibu.
To teach them what?
That we are not refining to teach our children in our schools, in Alibu, universities, to teach them refining. That's why we don't have any refinery that is working in our land. They have to move it to other lands, because we produce oil. We have oil in our land, but there's no refinery. I'm just trying to tell you that it's not just electricity. My sister mentioned 68 items that we are prevented from operating because we have a federal government that's having lordship over us as a result, because of the 1999 Constitution, because you said there's nothing wrong with it. I'm trying to show you. I don't know if you can hear us.
I can hear you.
Okay,
but
for you to explain to us, because there are 68 items. There are 68 items on the exclusive list. That means the governor is not supposed to go there, not just electricity. But it seems you don't know those 68 items, because you're asking us to mention it one by one.
Okay, I will tell you that this might take longer, but let me tell you something, the truth. One more, eh? The problem is our education system is wrong, completely wrong. It's a great. And in my new Nigerian project, I'm going to completely change that entire thing. Because the good education is that education designed to enhance the productive sector of our economy. What we have is English language education that has nothing to do with the resources of our land. So I agree with you that we can't even refine our product. We can't even help ourselves. But we all speak English, but that English cannot develop the resources of our land. So we should be more of a vocational and practical and IT education system, other than this sociology and botany and whatever they call them, they study here. So this is, I agree with you. So if the professor said that...
You're taking us back to this that no one will president and you know on Imo State for 8 years. So you're not sure when you were Henny Lunach, you Questrime, Ubudanya do to other, you're not check for Ni were ike, ni can limit one neggy Lucasrime. Una hapo Budanyo to other at this point in time. You will keep for what I
as such the question, but can answer this for you. Because and when you government stop room as a governor, they got you can cake modi, cake when modi when happy state. And I'm going to hear mission the whole project. Now, what is sicky, it came my hand on Imo State. All we do to Imo State, or we ran a quote we Rochas changed it. Or Rochas changed the shape of Gajoya. Number of schools anyway today, I know more schools than any governor in history. I know more hospitals than any governor in history. I know no government house. I know collection conference. We here now, I know flyovers and everything. Igbo land. I'm going to give them free education with the little resources. Man, he got what taboo and make here because we wanted to know ya. When you speak now, he's joke. Ya challenge him. Gan the Kuba. I'm covering about it. And I go get joke. Sing here when na Imo State come whereby Imo State. There has never been anybody who can challenge me in terms of infrastructure development. And I stand to say so with due respect to Mbakwe, because he was that there in the Imo. So that's on that side. So some of this does not say. What I'm saying is that by the sharing formula, population and what do you call it? Population and land mass, Imo is quite small. What the whole Southeast collects in a month is what rivers collect in the same 1 month. So, and when equal states, I used to collect 5 billion, 6 billion. Uncle salary from 1.5 billion, 1 billion naira on him. But rivers now collect about 40 billion naira alone on IGR. So any line they want to live where we have rivers in the water, it doesn't measure up. So we must learn to cut our coat according to material available and not according to your size. That's what I'm saying. So I didn't leave Imo. I didn't destroy Imo. I built Imo. And if you are from Imo State or Alibo, you agree with me that Imo was the best look and businesses increased in Imo State when I was a governor. And our children could go to school without paying for school fees.
Thank you, sir.
And if you disagree with me, please ask me this question.
Your Excellency, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to make reference to your statement and you made earlier that it's better to have 1%, to be a 1% shareholder in a $1 billion project than to be an MD in a 500,000 project. And I have two questions for you here. One, is this your analysis deserving of Igbo land?
If it's what?
What do you think? Resources from Igbo land, both human and natural resources, how do you think Ndi-Igbo deserve up to 30% in the Nigerian venture?
You know, let me tell you what is it. The resources of Igbo land has not been taxed. Can you hear me? Can all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me just go ahead. You know, you don't know what's happening in Igbo land. Igbo, Igbo, especially, let me speak for Imo State. Our greatest resources is the gas. We have the best and trillion cubic meters of gas located in Imo State. We're not that big in oil, except for Ebee. We're not like rivers. That's what people don't understand. We have just a little. That's why in what is called the Niger Delta funds, we'll get the least because of number of oil we produce. So among the coastal states, we're not what people think we are. But our own resources have not been developed, which is gas. Gas is where we belong, and we must do everything to develop our gas, and it will help the entire Igbo land. What you have in Enugu is coal. That has not been developed. So I don't think people understand these resources we're talking about, where it exists. When you talk about resources, talk about Akwa Ibom, Delta, rivers. These are the people that actually control the oil. So Ebee alone, part of Fukuta, with about 2, 3, 4 wells, even some of them are in court, taken over by rivers. And our land is tilted towards rivers. So the whole oil that comes from our land goes into rivers. I hope it's not what I'm saying. So did they drill it more? Even though it's there in us, but it goes down by the landscape. So there are a lot of things that our people need to be educated in it. But the point I'm making is, if it has come to the time Ndi-Igbo should have the test of the presidency of Federal Republic of Nigeria to showcase what they can do using the same constitution, Igbos should not be found wanting as to why we cannot win this office.
Excellency, sir, that does not answer my question. And it's a deviation from what you said and what I quoted and what I asked. I repeat again, sir, you said it is better to be or to have a 1%, to be a 1% shareholder in a $1 billion project than to be an MD in a 500,000 project. And I asked again, sir, is this your analysis deserving of Igbo nation? Because why I say this, people now see it as our position and depend on the crumbs from the so-called master's table, from resources from our land. Secondly, don't you think, like I said, Ndi-Igbo deserve up to 30% of share from the Nigerian venture? These are my two questions, sir.
But I answered your question, but let me come again. I think you are misplacing priorities. Completely.
I'm quoting you, sir.
Yes, you are misplacing priorities, but I'm coming to answer your question. I see that it's better of Igbos should better be part of the larger Nigeria where there are big stakeholders. Where there are stakeholders, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving an analogy. It's not like literal speaking, but it's better we are part of the bigger Nigeria. It's better for us. And that 30% you do, you shouldn't be asking for 30%. You should ask for the presidency of Federal Republic of Nigeria at this time. That is what should call for wisdom. That's the point I'm making. So, but when you're coming about 30% of what resources? And I've just told you that the oil that Imo State produced, Anambra is not oil producing, Ebee is not oil producing, Enugu is not oil producing, Abia and Imo that oil producing are in the minority. That only thing we have now is gas and intellectual power. The power in Igbo is intellectual, is IT. If we can develop that for our children, it will help us. But for you to say that for the Igbo nation is key, and everybody understands that we have intellectual power, which must be developed. So it is better for us to be a player in the entity called Nigeria and be allowed to handle the affairs of this country and showcase what Igbos can do. So I
A
don't
player
know.
with
To whose
1%
benefit?
Can I come in now? Can I come in now?
1% shareholder.
Hold on,
Go
hold
ahead.
on.
No, when I say, listen to me, I say it is better. Does not mean we're asking for 1%. Excuse me. If you're asking for 1%, you can't be asking for presidency of Nigeria. I'm speaking English.
Okay, sir.
When I say
Okay,
stakeholder means shareholder does not mean literally 1%. So if there are 100 people sharing the 100%, everybody should be 1%. So if you're talking about percentage, Nigeria Imo should have 2.5% or 3% of the 100% for 37 states.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I told you about level playground for Ndi-Igbo. That's what you need.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's bring in Bro Tony Nadi to ask his question, please. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Senator, welcome to the platform. I've listened to your presentation and the answers you've given to some of the questions. My question will go in 3 directions. The first will come from the 1-point agenda of wealth creation. And the second question will then go to the constitution. You say is not the problem. And then the third will go back to the reason for the town hall series, for the Igbo to look at all the options between going for power in Nigeria in terms of being president, or trying to extricate the contents of our sovereignty for our own use, other than Nigeria, holding on to it the way it's holding. Or to even go just for development, forget about constitution. Let's go and build up our Igbo, like some organizations are doing. And so I come back to the first part. Senator, sir, the question of wealth creation, the current constitutional arrangement of Nigeria is the reason why wealth is not being created. And why do we say so? We have a constitution that constricts the 68 items of exclusive list, because you asked to be told in specific terms what is wrong with constitution and why, as governor, people cannot go and do all of what they need to do. The 68 items that have been referred to, touch on the ownership, control, and the power to operate, to use, to work the assets that belong to you. I was in the oil industry. I could tell what quantum of oil and gas that come from that part with all this land drilling. The only reason Imo State is not the one dictating what will happen is that oil and gas is on that exclusive list. The only reason there's no electric power plant in Igbo land today is because electricity generation and transmission is on that exclusive list. The little window they opened in the concurrent list is of no use, because no investor in his right mind will come to invest 5 billion or 3 billion of other people's money in a power generation that is in the hand of federal government. You witnessed it as governor in Imo when people came from the US to try to invest. And it turned out that it was because it is not in your hand to do that investment went away. And so, as it is for electricity generation and for control of oil and gas, including refining, so it is for security. As governor in Imo, you could not issue one rifle to anybody because the constitution says arms and ammunition belong to federal government. If that federal government is in the hand of Fulani today, and they are issuing it to people in the forest to go and kill other people as at will, what will you what will the governor do? You saw the ones who have been going about crime. And so the question of security is compromised beyond the reach of what any governor can cure today. You left Imo State Look at the fellow that is there today. Somebody sat in Abuja. Elections happened. Somebody came forth. And then somebody was able to sit in Abuja and install that one that came forth as governor in Imo. Because election management is on that exclusive list. That is why Imo is under this madness that it has fallen into. The entire 68 items are like shackles. Each of them is like a shackle that you cannot break. And so when people say it is the constitution that is reasoning things are the way they are, the road from Enugu to Port Harcourt, the one from Onitsha to Enugu, the only reason they're in that state is that they are federal roads, they are federal assets. So if you don't have control over your assets, you don't have control over the guns to protect those assets, so people can just come and do whatever they like. You don't have control over who will manage your space, because some people in some places are desirous of other things for you. That's why somebody like Rochas can be governor in Imo today, because somebody somewhere has exclusive jurisdiction over the subject.
I'm not the governor today.
Sorry, Hope. Sorry, sorry. That's why we can end up with the hope we see today, because somebody in Abuja has exclusive control.
Can I help you?
Yes.
Can I help you also? I think I now understand your emotions and I appreciate it. Just let me help you. If you can calm down and listen to me, because I believe the entire world is listening to me now.
Yes, sir.
In my opening remark, I think I summarized all this you're talking about. Let me say this categorically, is that our problem is not in what you're imagining. Now, we didn't invest in gas in Imo State. I went to Japan, I went to Korea, Singapore. I brought them in, the biggest company, to invest in our gas. No federal government stopped me, because I have the power to say federal government can't even enter into Imo State to do anything. I started it because I want to develop my resource and they must give it to my company. But the cost investment in gas was not profitable. My dear, that's the truth. Now,
Mr. Governor, sir, this is a point, like you said, the whole world is listening. You are speaking to a lawyer with specialty in jurisprudence and in that area of law about what the Constitution says, and I've had the privilege of I've had the privilege. Listen, sir, let us get to the nitty-gritties. I've been part of this. I'm not talking emotion here now. I'm speaking facts. I've been part of final investment decision process in projects that look very good. And those who have to put their 2 billion.
Like which one?
Including the one that came to your Imo State in the Uguta area. You remember the fellows, yes, and the integrated, they were to do power, they were to do refining, they were to get into some part of agriculture and all of that. I can report to you now that the final investment decision that had to be taken for that money to move, according to all the plan, after all the visitations, Mary Flower, I'm sure you remember, the final investment decision failed because somebody raised the issue of, on this subject matter, what if we get started and the people in Abuja, whose exclusive jurisdiction it is to approve or not approve, now refuse to approve. That was what killed it. I'm reporting to you a meeting I was brought in, virtually to witness, because it had come to that point where they now had to ask those who can guide them. And I was now watching them take that is the one in Imo. There are more than 50 of such across the length and breadth of Nigeria, where including the ones the federal government went into, to say, if we get started, this is the reason it will fail. All the governors that have been going from one part of the world to the other to invite investment, it is because the ultimate power to decide is in the hand. Imagine if Batten had gone to borrow all of the monies he used to do geometric, and then suddenly somebody in Abuja is the reason, because the Constitution says so. Why are you not able to set up a security outfit that will carry arms? Because the Constitution says you cannot. And why are you not able to do a whole number of things?
You're not asking a question. No. I think you are trying to. I can contribute.
We're picking on from your answers, sir. We're picking on from your answers. So let want to come down. Let us come down. You will land, sir. You will land. Let me just now leave it
my brother. Go ahead.
Let us come down to the question of the agitations that are costing everybody everything everywhere now. People who say, look, unless we fix the union agreement, this project as defined by this imposition is not our project. And they are prepared to do just about anything. No matter what else you come to offer them. Somebody is pointing guns at them in their backyard. There are at least 5 governors today that are asking us 24 hours, what else do we do? Because people are pointing guns at them. All the guns are in the hands of people who are in Abuja, who are not interested in stopping those people. Rather, they are aiding them. And the Constitution forbid them from doing the things they needed all the while to defend their people. And so, as long as that situation is like that, that Constitution cannot command the respect or allegiance of those whose assets have been seized, the Niger Delta whose oil and gas is seized, the Lagos people whose ports are seized, the people whose limestone have been seized and allocated to somebody who now becomes the richest man. These are the things that are playing in the background, and they are more interested in looking for how to exit from that bad arrangement. And the priority, the most urgent requirement at this time, unless we want to give up that Federation of Nigeria, because there's a majority that now wants to opt out of it, the most urgent priority is not about who will come to govern. It is about going to fix that problem. Anybody who is not listening now and telling us what he will come to do to fix one part or the other in a thing that is upside down. The majority that are now fearing for their lives are just going to pay no attention to that fraud because it has life because of the signature that was implanted on it. It says, we the people submitted our sovereignty into the union. We didn't. So that majority that is being accused of enacting their damnation have been organized. The politicians may not know how deep it runs, but I can assure you that those whose lands have been seized under the pretense that we have the Federation of Nigeria collapsed in 1966. All the federal governments from 1967 have been illicit, and they managed to find a way to impose this constitution that make it impossible for the constituents, the Imo State that you govern, wasn't our own. It was imposed from somebody called us Imo, somebody called us Ebee, and somebody made a list of what we could do and what we could not. And so we found ourselves in this situation where we are not the only ones shouting and crying now. Everybody's shouting and crying. And we're telling the politicians to please just dress back for a moment. Let us identify what the problem is. If you go from cause and effect analysis, how did the poverty come? When I have capacity to do things and I cannot do those things because the Constitution says I cannot, then poverty comes from it. Without electricity, what development can you do? Why did you not give Imo people electricity while you were there? Is it that you did not desire electricity for them? Is it that you did not desire all kinds of security, better security for them? It was because the Constitution said so. And if the people who made that Constitution put my signature and your signature as the authors of our damnation, we entered Nigeria as 60% of Nigeria in 1960. Today we are 5 states. We are now the minority that is the example of minority, whose voice cannot even, our question cannot even be taken at the National Assembly because of the representation imposed on us by 36 states and 7 local government areas that fall where they fall. And so that Nigeria is progressively not our project. Why can't we stop and fix this before the ship sinks? Because if a majority, like we have found now, and unless we go to a referendum, you can't know how much, what margin of majority we're talking about. And if they are not committed to building on this foundation that is fractured, completely fractured, and you're inviting them to come with you for how we can make people give them food, have we become a majority? We can do things for ourselves. Nigeria has become such a liability that we're not able to bear it anymore. And if we're going to die, having lost all our assets, if we're going to die because we're in Nigeria, I tell you, many will want to opt out. I will have to leave it there so that you can tell us what you see in the face of this, because these are things staring us in the face.
Thank you. I think I like this discussion. Let me just say some few things. Let me summarize what you have said in few words. I hope it will make sense.
Yes.
I still think that there are certain things that is not quite clear. And if you can just calm down a bit, I'll let you know. I've told you that you must, the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Everything shall be added unto you.
Yes.
And the Bible says, my people are dead for lack of knowledge, not that lack of cash.
Yes.
And it says, where there's no vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
Not where there's no money. If you understand this, my brother, I define an Igbo man. Let me even shock you. Let me shock you and tell you who you are. Do you know the Igbos can survive without anybody? Igbos alone can survive.
They've always been able to.
No,
but somebody's pointing guns at them today, killing them.
Igbo people can survive and build a wonderful big Dubai without anybody.
Wonderful.
Even without,
I agree.
Without an nation.
I agree.
So Nigeria isn't a problem.
Nigeria is the entire problem. Nigeria is the reason we are not doing that.
Let me finish.
Yes,
you see, you've spoken. I want us to chat very well. So have open mind. If you have a closed mind, you can understand me. And by the way, let me tell you, my names are Owelle Anayo Rochas Okorocha. I'm an Igbo man. And I want to ask anybody who claims to be more Igbo than Rochas Okorocha. The same Rochas Okorocha who went during Akaloka to Sokoto and fight for the Igbo interest. The same Rochas Okorocha. Rochas Okorocha today has over 10,000 Igbo officers that I'm training, most of them in universities. Unbeatable record by any Igbo man anywhere in the world. Tell me your village and tell how many children I'm training from there. Don't know where you come from. But that's by the way. So I'm talking to you as somebody who loves Ndi. I'm not just talking to you like a politician. Let's be real with ourselves. And you're talking about this. Look at even to produce a local government chairman and a governor. See how you have destroyed yourself to start with. So we must be very careful what we're asking for at the time we're asking for it. Look at just, okay, imagine now that even ask, let me put people in this dashboard and I say, give me one minister of petroleum from wherever you are and see the number of killings that put down that will come into it. These are not your problem. Igbos, you are the problem of yourself. I agree we are the problem of ourselves. So we have to rethink and tell ourselves the home truth. The point I'm making to you here, which you are bringing about constitution, somebody mentioned about killings in the north and how they are killing the people. I don't want to even go into that. Or poverty rates in Nigeria. When I was governor of Imo State, there was relative peace. There was no poverty as it is. People were happy. In fact, I took all the blame. I'm the person being abused and called on corruption and everything. I took it because leadership is about taking nonsense. But if I tell you what's happening in the north here right now, a number of people who've been killed every day, not reported, you weep, even as a human being. Every day. And before, we used to think that anytime they kill people in Zafra, Igbos are being killed. Thousands are being killed every day. So
one moment again. The killings, because that now supersedes other things.
Now I want to go back to security. Let me finish. Now, okay. My friend, you have to let me talk now. Let me talk. You invited me to this program. Let me talk.
Right.
Let me talk.
I'm listening. I'm listening because you touch a raw center. You want to leave it aside.
To talk about security in Imo State. When I was governor, I established what is called Imo Security Network. Imo Civil Guard. You are aware of it. And I guess
I know a lot more about certain details across board, from Abuja to the state centers. I can call the names of people behind the scene. But okay, carry on. I happen to know.
Nobody stopped me from equipping these children to secure my state. I'm the chief security officer of the state. And I must
you mean you could have issued them AK-47 entirely on your own?
I didn't issue AK-47 because there was no need for it, but I issued them double barrels to distribute, and I got the police to follow them.
Did you require anybody's approval to do even that? Did you have to talk with the police
I never
authorities?
required anybody's approval to do that. Not the president, not the CP. Even Omotekun in Yoruba land now, they didn't require any. Even the federal government said no. They went ahead. Did they stop them?
I was directly involved in how
sometimes
it
you must
came.
know when to blame yourself or blame outsiders.
Because the constitution is reason things are upside down, and
I agree
nobody
with
can
you
construct
about
on a damaged foundation.
What you should have said that there's need for decentralization of power. That's what you are saying here. So married.
That is a limited encapsulation of the situation. It goes
that I agree with you. There's no need for argument.
In which entity? In which decentralization of power? In which entity? For you to understand what we are talking about, sir, just hold on. You know the preamble to that constitution. I'm happy you are familiar with it. The preamble makes two claims. It says we the people have firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity as one indivisible entity, Nigeria. That is one part. Then it goes down to say, accordingly, we hereby make and give unto ourselves the following constitution, like the memorandum article of association of a company. What the memo and article is to the company is what the constitution is to the country. There are two questions there. In the memo, Rochas and Hope and whoever else come together to form themselves into a company. That is where they agree to go into the trading or into the banking. And then the article is what regulates what happens among. There are two different documents. That's why when you see in the booklet, one starts somewhere and ends, the other begins. And so the memo, that claim that Igbo is
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that you want to be talking, let me ask a question. So
yes,
right now, the constitution benefits some part of the country. Am I right? That's what I'm feeling. Or is it the problem entire Nigeria?
The constitution not just benefiting. The constitution was instituted by a small part for all of us.
But let me ask you, who is the beneficiary of the constitution over others? The North benefits more than the South, or the president, it benefits the president? What's your problem? Assuming it's the bad constitution, who does it benefit now?
The people it benefits. The people it benefits are the ones who imposed it and who have refused all entries since 1967 to revisit it. Rather, they insist.
So who are those?
They shoot at anybody who insists.
Who are those? And who displays the constitution? It's not the president.
Who does what?
Who displays the constitution? Is it not the president?
Did you say who dictates? Who dictates?
It's not the government.
No. The constitution goes beyond the mandate of the federal government and the National Assembly. If you want to verify this, they have no mandate whatsoever to make constitution. If you go to section 14.2a, even of this debated one, section 14.2a says that the sovereignty, we are discussing our sovereignty, we are discussing whether we have a union or not. That is where the issue is. The question of what we are doing in that union or how we decentralize in that union is secondary.
I want to tell you this in summary. Okay, let me summarize so you can move ahead. All this you are concerned are being addressed right now in the constitutional amendment.
The constitutional amendment is treason. The people who are sitting in Abuja and assuming my sovereignty to now make constitution for me is like people in Rochas Okorocha Foundation, the management you hired in one of your businesses, sitting and locking you out, and then obtaining your memo and articles, and now writing into it something that excludes you from that business. That is what they are doing, because the sovereignty, the power to make constitution or to remake constitution, is called constituent powers. And even as bad as that constitution is, it accepted in section 14.2a that sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom government, through that constitution, derives all its powers and authority. And therefore, unless the owners of the land called the lands that make up Nigeria, the Yoruba that could be a country of 60 million people, the eastern part that could be a country of 70 million people, The middle belt that is being slaughtered like chicken that could be a country of 40 million people, unless they sit down as the custodians of their sovereignty to agree on how to make a union out of the landmass that the British locked together. Everything you are doing, because that was why we derailed in 1966. We came to Aburi in 1967 to try to fix it. And then people came back and threw it aside and began to do things by decree, which they collected in 1979.
I feel you, my brother. I feel you.
That is what
I think you are.
Thank you, Mr.
The election
I don't know whether I'm
people are
listening
saying
to
they
you
want to go to.
I'm not talking at all.
Okay. Thank you.
How will you
Thank
learn from me if I'm not
Thank you,
talking?
Barrister Tony Nadi.
Yes.
We are sure that Senator Rochas will want to engage with us even after this meeting. So thank you so much for your contribution. We appreciate all the way you broke everything down. And this conversation will continue, like we keep saying, that this is the first time Ndi-Igbo are coming together to understand themselves. Mr. Rochas, Senator Rochas has said, oh, we don't understand ourselves, we stop ourselves, but something is making us to do that. So this is why we are here, to talk to ourselves and say, okay, what is really going on? Why are we not moving forward the way we want to move? Because Ndi-Igbo are dreamers. They're like Americans. They aspire for great things. They want to move forward. They want to do great things, but they are being hindered. So they were having this conversation, and we're saying this, that this conversation will be ongoing. So thank you so much, Senator Rochas. Please, can you continue with your answers? Because so many things have been raised. We'll appreciate if you can give some answers to some of them. Thank you.
I think what I'll do right now is to change my line of discussion to talk to my people, the Igbos, because I thought we were going to be discussing about economy, discuss about way forward for this nation. Since there are particular interests as
it is Ebee ka Ndi-Igbo na-eje. The theme of our meeting is Ebee ka Ndi-Igbo na-eje.
You know what? Let me tell you what I did. As I speak to you now in Enugu, I built the Igbo Center of Unity single-handedly. Those for Igbo Nation to create an economic department. How to start now? And I want to tell you this: that Igbos must come together and sing a new song, a song of unity, love for one another. Because what is happening in Igbo now is most disheartening, is most shaky. When I see our young sons and daughters in a shrine wearing red clothes, men killing, my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds. And these are chosen generation. These are the chosen people of God. These are people that I think we have left our core understanding with God. I think we have forgotten who we are in God's place, and we have told a different way. But I said the way we are going to might not give us our end result. I decided before to build the Igbo Center of Unity in Enugu, where I wanted us to build how to build the Igbo nation, such that if anything happens, say for instance in China, the way our children are being molested, an Igbo jet will leave Enugu straight to China and say, what is that our son doing? Release him. Even if they go ahead and kill him, and the boy will have a sense of belonging. There's no running point from them. That I assure you I'm doing, and I will do that only to change the mentality for us to understand if we really want to be. Because we talk about the nation, we talk about the people, organizing your people. We're very wonderful people. We're wonderful. We have a special gift from God, and we have to cash on that and change a bit of our style. That is my only difference, because the battle now is more of an intellectual battle than the strength of hand. That is what my line of argument, which I want to put in deep. And I wish I can be allowed to drive this from deep. I've built a place, and I'm ready to give them a center to really sing a new song. And first of all, you have to understand who you are. I don't think Igbos have understood who they are. If they understand who they are, they would have been raising their shoulder high and not think that anybody can finish them. No nation of mankind in the world can finish Ndi-Igbo. But Igbos are the only one who can finish themselves. That's the basic truth. So I think I would like to engage your team to fashion out a solution on how to rebuild the brand new Igbo nation that we can all be proud of before we transfer the wrong ideas to generations of Ndi-Igbo yet to come. That is, I was thinking, this was not my line of thought. And it's very easy. It's very easy. you know, we are proud people. We're easily misunderstood. And you know why I tell them that if an Igbo man become president today, the problem I got to even have is that Igbo man might even be nicer to Hausa and Yoruba than he's nice to his own people. That's Igbo man for you. So Nigeria has an accent in an Igbo man. And this is the way to go. But again, so I like to partner with you, honestly, and start this whole chat. And I'll provide you all that you need to drive it. Let us ask ourselves questions.
Thank you, Mazi. I want a question from Honorable Onwukwe Basil. Us na ihe niile nụrụ n'Imo State na onwe nke na-awọk na ha adakashiala. So ị nwere ike ime address.
Okay, number one, the international cargo airport is standing. The government house building is standing. The chapel is standing. The elders' home center is standing. The Ministry of Science and Tech is standing. I can mention all the projects.
Okay, aga m enye ya ohere aka ya nọkwu n'elu. Aga m enye ya ohere ka ọ jụzie gị ajụjụ. But anyị nwere nwanne nwoke ọzọ a na-akpọ Seb Ude Aja. Seb, biko gawa n'iru.
Owelle, ekene m gị.
Daalụ.
Check your records so you got far from somewhere. Oge na-ebido. Ọ bụrụ na ị check your record, ị ga-afụ afa m somewhere. Oge na-ebido, na iso onye gị nkwado. Ị na-anụ ife m na-ekwu ọfụma?
Go ahead.
Daalụ. Before njụọ ajụjụ nwere riri nne, mana m ewelu ofu before m bido. Can I make good a little comment to if people ikpeazụ? If people need to yellow n'Enugu, ọ ga-abụ ụmụnne anyị nwee nsogbu na China, a jet will fly out and go there and solve it. You remind me of July 3, 1976, when the Israelites went to Entebbe in Uganda and freed their 103 hostages that were taken in Uganda. You remember the incident, 1976. Now, such a thing can happen only when there is a state. When there is a state. Obro Ebialua, a foundation n'Enugu, enwezie Ndi-Igbo nwee nsogbu na China, he said the jet. It is not possible. Obu na Ndi-Igbo nwere a state of their own, a country of their own that has international relationships and that has a viable army. The Israelites were able to send commandos to Entebbe to liberate their people, and they succeeded. So if I can put just a comment to let you know, I know you are a powerful orator. I respect you and I love you for that. But I will ask you humbly to try to deal with facts. Let us deal with facts now. Now, going to my question, sir. I believe you know the pre-independence history of Nigeria, the formation of Nigeria. At that point, there were 3 regions which had equal powers, equal political powers. Later there was a 4th region, which had, all of them had equal political powers. We had a federation. That is the only thing that guarantees equal political powers. And we had a parliamentary system. These regions only donated what they agreed to the center. Now, along the line, this structure has been destroyed, demolished. That is what our brother Tony Nadi was trying to discuss with you. Now, my first question will be, is there equal political power today amongst the West, East, North, and Midwest? Is there equal political power in Nigeria today? Now, did the people ever decide to change the federal parliament? I'm shouting so that you hear me. If I become too loud, please tell me to reduce my voice.
Go ahead. I like it. I like it. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Now, did the people ever decide to change the federal parliamentary system, which our founding fathers bargained for us? Did the people ever decide to change that? Now, as president, are you ready to bring back our freedoms, which we are the foundation of federal Nigeria? If you say yes, then please tell us how you will do this. Why I'm asking you this question as my first question is because we invited you today to help us answer the question, Ebee ka Ndi-Igbo na-aga? I can well further questions. So please just answer this small one. As president, if by miracle you become the president of Nigeria, will you consider to bring back our freedoms as we had them in the 4 regions that constituted the Federal Republic of Nigeria? If you think you can do that,
Okay.
I will stop here because I don't want you to start writing down my questions. I have many questions, but let me stop here before I ask the next one, sir.
Oh, excuse me, Senator. We have 20 minutes to go. We don't know if you have time. If we extend it, will you have time if we extend it? We have 20 minutes to go. We don't know what your time is like. So many people are having questions.
Yes, I have scheduled a meeting for 8 o'clock.
Okay. So we'll know how to
and so, but I can come on tomorrow. I want to discuss this every day with you until we get ourselves right. Because there are a lot of my people.
It's like we'll just be locating one village and all of us will be there and discuss. Please go ahead, sir.
No matter what happened, I'm a proud Igbo man. I'm proud, and if the question has come back, I would come back an Igbo man. But let me ask you a question. I think we are putting the horse before the cat, or the cat before the horse. What's the same thing? Which one comes first? Here you have in the next 40 days to decide who become the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And here I have come to you, breaking down my ideas for this nation. I thought I would gotten an applause and say the Igbos in diaspora will contribute $1 billion or $100 million or $5 million for you. Go and conquer this, our brother. I think seek here first this political power in Nigeria, then these questions can begin to be addressed. For as long as it's not addressed, you have a long way to go. That is a word of wisdom. So the quality of power in Nigeria is depends on the person at the helm of affairs and how he thinks. That is what, and there's no equality of power anywhere in the world. But what Igbos are asking for is the level playground. This is what we have. But Ndi-Igbo na-asụ onye mara ihe ya mere onye mere nna ya ga-amakwana ihe onye mere nna ya ga-eme. So talking about equality of political power, we have a very small opportunity which we must never destroy now. And I instruct and warn every Igbo man to stand upright and ensure that this presidency comes to this part of the world, so we don't destroy the psyche of generations of Ndi-Igbo yet unborn. That is one. Then I have to ask you the question, where Ndi-Igbo are going to now is that so far as the people who have done well, little without government support, who have done very, very well. A little government push will change the narratives in the Igbo land. Why don't we play along and do what others are doing to accept and get the stories right? Because the stories that we hear is that the Northerners, the Yorubas are this and this, South. Tomorrow we say South don't like us. Tomorrow Yorubas are fighting us. They say we should go and die in Lagoon. The next day we say the Hausa Fulani are killing us. They have come take our places. All this, as you see, one thing we should always think: what's the button you can press and everything will be well? So indeed, we are doing well as a people, highly enterprising. Do you know we're the envy of the world? We're the envy of this nation. Everybody accept that wherever you put an Igbo man, he will do well. And that's why we're everywhere. Do you know one of the arguments I tell?
Maazị, I know everywhere. I know I'm gbafu ka I gbafu. I have it twisted. I know the exile. Also, ka I na agba ndụ.
Igbafu to Kano. Igbafu to Fulani land.
Everywhere, to Mediterranean Sea.
Igbafu to Lagos. No, hold on. Igbafu to Kaduna. And they back on Chabi.
Actually, get the Arab walking. Maazị me na baga.
Well, I check and enjoy my next question.
That was our problem. Let me leave this with this food of thought. Call all the Igbos now as you feel. Tell all the Igbos to come back home to fix Igbo land. Manji Kaduna, Manji Yoruba. I get you my women or pepper soup.
No, man, I beg to differ. I beg to differ, man.
Okay,
we are ready.
We are
ready. They are killing us. Look at your no government. We want to come.
I want to come with you. Let's go.
And we want it to be like America so that we can come and go in. We are ready, sir.
But in we're like the Jews. We are found everywhere doing well. That's the truth. Not because of hardship.
Oh, well, we are tired. We are backed out. We want to come home.
I want to refund. I will make an email for all of you to come home.
Amen. My next question, sir.
I'm making one president now. Everybody got a lot of tomorrow.
My next question, sir. My next question, sir.
Develop our land.
Yes, my next question, sir. Just as a bypass, so if people, I charge the nkwado ịlọta. I charge the nkwado ịlọta. Mana ọ bụrụ nlọta ụlọ. Drive, isi Bem drive from Bem go to Onitsha. Just 18 kilometers. I spend there 1 hour because I have 6 checkpoints on the road. Six checkpoints within 18 kilometers. So overall that situation, my next question,
during
sir.
My governorship, I told every policeman to leave the road. If there's a policeman on the road, the governor invited them. If there's army in your state, the governor invited them. If there's Air Force in your state, the governor invited them. If there's police, the governor. If your governor said no, they will not come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My next question is as follows. M.I. Opara of Eastern Nigeria, he built the OG power station, which ignited massive industrial boom in Eastern Nigeria. In fact, during that time, during the time of M.I. Opara, Eastern region was seen as a small country that had the highest rate of development, economic development in the world, right? Now, under your regime, you gave 8 years of your regime as governor. You gave free education to indigenous Imolites. That was very great, right? And you were, before you even became governor, you are known as a great philanthropist, educationist. You educate the weak, the poor. Yes. Now you left office in Imo State just 3 years ago. As at August 2020, Imo State was the capital of youth unemployment in Nigeria. As August 2020, 1 year after you left office, Imo State was the capital of youth unemployment in Nigeria. Now, in your introductory speech, you say you love wealth creation. I understand it. You gave us an example that after your governor, your service as the governor, the price of land escalated, right? So the increase of price of land beyond the rich, of the middle class. You see it as an achievement. We in the diaspora who also grew up in Nigeria, our parents were simple, ordinary teachers and ordinary civil servants. They were able to buy a piece of land to build their thing. Now, after your governorship, no civil servant can buy a piece of land in Imo State. And you call it wealth creation. Now, I ask you a question, sir. Owelle, I ask you a question. I remember that name, Owelle, you took it from Guru, from Ojukwu. Now, today, as I said, the graduating youth with your scholarship, with your very kind scholarship, they are pouring en masse into the jobless market, which you left behind because you were unable to build industries. You were unable to create electricity. Now, my question to you, why were you unable to create electricity as M.I. Okpala did in his time? Please, if I'm too loud, tell me, let me reduce my voice.
Go ahead.
Why were you unable to create industries to assimilate the millions of youth, thousands of youth that you are giving scholarship? Why were you unable? I answered that question and then you answer it in your own form. I answered the question because you were unable because of the constitution. The constitution we have is a fraudulent constitution which does not allow you as a governor to develop your state. Now, please answer me that question, please, sir. I have other questions after this.
Okay. Sir. Okay. There's what is called in economics, demand and supply. What you saw in Imo State, because the demand for Imo land, a lot of investors, a number of people plunged in, Ebee, Enugu, Rivers, all plunged in to have land. For demand and supply. So if you think that making land cheap is development, then there's no development in it. You can as well go to the village where it's so 1 naira. I'm talking about where capital, not every part in Imo State. If you go to Dubai today to buy one piece of land or Japan, you know what it is. Where there's development means where the infrastructure people are coming in, then land must be expensive. During my tenure, Imo became one of the fastest, not Imo, fastest growing city. If you know where Imo stopped at Concord when I came in 2011. In 2018, Imo had expanded going towards Port Harcourt, towards Ebee, towards everywhere that I met. That's what's called development, and quality of life improved. Every day, the shoemaker is making money, granite seller is making money, tipper drivers are carrying sand, cement is being sold. Dangote said that the total number of cement is sold in Southeast. The one he sold in Imo was more than the entire cement sold there. So development came. That's development. So you're not actually right that making it cheap. But if you have land for industry, they will give it land free. You don't have to buy it. So that is on that note. But I want to talk about climate change. This is what I wanted Igbos to look at now.
Before climate change, tell us, why you were unable to build industries and electricity in Imo State.
Excuse me, there's a good relationship between industry and power. And I'll come to that.
Of course.
But I built some couple of industries. One of them, if you know where they have resin paint, I told resin paint, I brought in Chinese company and they are making, fridges, TVs, and everything, household equipment right now. Just ask questions in Ndi said there. I brought that. And I first of all, I produced the Imo palm oil from Imo palm plantation before I left office. And we had Imo rice. So we are doing a lot of things within the local things we had. But you said about, you're still going back to that power. And I tell that the issue of power has been taken care of. It's no longer a control under the federal government. It's now a state affair. So nothing stops you from going to do your powers. And if a president wants, he can devolve any power within his constitutional powers to the state or to anybody he likes. So it's all about this seat, Ndi-Igbo. It's about this seat. You need this seat. You need this seat before you talk. Whatever you can do to assuage Nigerians and others try to support you for this cause, do it. If you can, people are raising funds now run for this election. There are people are supporting them. The Yorubas are contributing money from abroad, raising money from everywhere. What are you doing for us? What then they go contribute and send money? Let's get this in for the first time to Igbo land. It will help a whole lot. So this is what we should be talking about. It's very, very important.
So ka ịgbadezi ụkwụ n'ala gwa anyị otu ihe ị chọrọ ka e were end ya today before anyị emechie ngwa gawa n'ihu.
Ihe anyị na-edogbo ụmụnne m kebe eziokwu ka agwa nwere eziokwu. Anyị na-edere imezi ala Igbo ka a hapụ ihe fe n'abalị a na-akpọ ya anwụnta ka anyị bido n'ugbu a mezie ala Igbo maka ụmụ anyị ndị ka a ga-amụ amụ. Anyị njikere ekwu okwu ugbu a onye bikwuo mụọ 30-40 years ekele Chineke. So kedu ihe ụmụ ya ga-amụ echi ga-eme ya bụ ebe nsogbu m dị ụdọ maka anyị nwa na-ekwu okwu a taa ọ maka ụmụ anyị ndị ka na-amụba ha ka a ghara ịbata inshọransị enwezikwa ihe ka ala Igbo. So Chukwu ekwela biko ka anyị tinye ofu obi wee mezie ala Igbo. Ndewo.
Ndewo mere ọfụma.
Okay, Dalun and Ebee. So sorry for those that we couldn't take your questions. There are so many. So we're trying to like put their thoughts together and ask one question on your behalf as we are reading the comments. I'm so sorry if we didn't mention your name and then read it. It's because of time. So many questions. And let's keep coming. This conversation will continue. We have platforms, Aladinmma platforms, and the conversation will continue, please. Thank you.
Thank you.